Hi folks, sorry I'm a bit late. Made it in the end. True fact, I was going to say, due to technical difficulties, I was a little bit late today. Here's what really happened. I'm just literally opening up my laptop to get this all sorted out. Picked the kids up from school and came home. What's going on here? Put my phone down. Couldn't find it again. I was like, I need to do the live video. Couldn't find my phone. My phone is always on silent, so we couldn't even ring it. And then I was like, find my phone, find everyone, find mum's phone really quick. And I was like, can you do a live just off your laptop? Anyway, found it. It was on the windowsill in the bathroom. There it was. Must have put it there when I went to brush my hair. Brushed my hair, laid my phone down, forgot to pick it up again. Anyway, here we are. There's a story you were all just dying to hear. So, update. I can't work out where to look today. Is it over here? So funny. Like, sometimes I think it must depend which way I got my phone. Emily very kindly helped me try and discover if these pencils are wax or oil based. The internet is confused. We don't really know yet. So I DM'd Faber Castell. And they saw the message, because you know how it says they've seen it, they didn't answer. So there's either a cover up or they don't know themselves. I suspect it's the latter. So we'll wait and see, because now I am intrigued. I want to know, are they oil? Are they wax? Does it matter? Not massively, but it matters to us. We need to find the truth. No fake news here. Right, I know what we're gonna do. A Mother's Day tutorial, but in all honesty, I haven't had time to prep a thing. I don't want to make it up on the spot because then it'd be rubbish. Better to let me have tonight, figure out what we're going to do, and we'll do it tomorrow, and I'll make sure it's good. So today, it's freezing up here. I am going to do some more colouring in Worlds of Wonder with these pencils. And you know how I never put my pencils away as I'm working? I just grabbed, how cute is this, by the way? Some people might recognise these from a few years ago when we did the World How to Draw Inky Wonderlands launch. I just grabbed all the pencils that I'd been using and kept them separate. I just thought they were like a really nice colour palette. Like, it looks odd when you see it there, but when I looked at them, I was like, that's such a Wes Anderson colour palette. You'll see what I mean in a second when I flip the camera. And I've got something embarrassing to show you as well. That sounds like it's going to be like a terrible medical thing, but something that I spotted in the book. I'll show you in a second. Right, let's do this. So, right, here we are. We're colouring Worlds of Wonder. Wait till I show you this first. So this is the colour palette. Do you not think it's just like a really Wes Anderson selection of colours? I hadn't even noticed that when we were doing it, but I loved them, and I want to do the entire page basically in that palette with a few accents. So this is what we did yesterday. Now, look at this. This is this bust page. You see this? I am such a silly person. This was a windmill. There should have been 4 blades coming off of here. And for some reason, when I've inked it, I've totally forgotten to ink them. Just drawing this. Because I was looking at it going, what an odd fir tree. What was I thinking? Why did I put that eyeball on the top? I was like, no, that was the windmill. So I got the paper sketches out right enough. When I'd drawn it in pencil, I had drawn this as a windmill. And then for some reason, when I came to ink it, I must have got up to this point and then got to make a cup of tea or something. Came back, thought, oh yeah, it's finished. Scanned it in. And now we've got a bladeless windmill. So when you get to this page, feel free to add it in or, you know, make this into anything. Maybe we'll have a prize for the person that can make this into the most inventive thing. Like, what should it be now that it's not a windmill? Honestly, it's like, what was I thinking? How did I not spot that? I jump. Right, get my jacket off. This desk is further away than the other one, so I need to scoot in a wee bit more. Also, I did a little bit more to this one this morning. Actually, before I tell you that, you see this? I noticed this whilst on a conference call this morning. So we were doing the call, videos were on, and the book was just sitting in front of me, but out of shot, and I happened to glance down at it, noticed it, and then I was like, what is that? And I couldn't stop thinking about it. The conference call was continuing. They were asking me questions. I was just like, yeah. And they must have just thought I wasn't paying attention. But the reality was, I was looking at that going, no way. Did I forget to draw the rest of the windmill? Oh. So it was really difficult. Once you've noticed something in a conference call like that, there's no unnoticing it. And then I just couldn't, and the thought as well, and I'm embarrassed to admit this, I knew this was the US edition. And I thought, I wonder if it's in the UK edition as well. Now, given it's the same files and the same book with a different cover on it, I've no idea how I thought it was going to be different. In the UK edition, it reminded me of, you know, that episode of Friends where Rachel makes up her CV and she's got a spelling mistake in it, and they notice it, and she's done loads and loads of copies, and she goes, oh, do you think it's in all of them? And they're like, yeah. You basically photocopied it. It was like that. I was like, oh, I wonder if it's in the UK edition as well, or if we've managed to catch it. Of course it's in the UK edition. Anyway, never mind. Right, I'm not seeing any comments. Why are they different? They're not different. Sherry. They're exactly the same. So that's your story for today. Let me check them in frame. I think we'll do these little towers, pink and grey. I think blush pink and grey is such a pretty colour palette. And I'm a big fan of a limited colour palette, as you know, so taking those pencils out, I still took home the entire pack because I'm really conscious that we've got the red up here. So I think we'll probably do most of this page in this limited palette and then have the odd highlight as a pop of another colour. Everyone's like, yeah, we'll remember that when we come to colour that page. I know. Because I was sort of looking at it going, what was I thinking? That's so odd looking. Windmill blades. Initially I was like, it looks a little bit like, you know, when you get a mobile phone mast, and for some reason the government asked them to disguise them because it would obviously be hideous if we actually knew what it was. So they just make it look like, we'll make this green, a really terrible tree. Like the worst disguised tree ever. It looks a bit like that. I was like, what is that? It's like when you find those little arrows in the books where I've made a mistake and then forgotten to erase the arrow. Rosie says, are those pencils oil or wax? We don't know, Rosie. we honestly don't know. I'm trying to find out. I still think that they're going to be wax, but we don't know. No, sorry, I still think that they're going to be oil. I'm forgetting what I'm even saying now. Maybe, and this is a big maybe, maybe they just do whatever they want. Sometimes they're oil, sometimes they're wax, because they're not massively expensive sets, so it might be that they just, I don't know, use up the end of a batch. I have no idea what I'm speaking about, but you know what I mean? Maybe they don't want to commit to saying it's one or the other, just so they've got the flexibility of being able to change it. Bev, no, we don't know. And for anyone else that's just joined us, the reason that I'm late is because I'd lost my phone. As you can see, we found it again. Yeah, Rosie says someone said wax. See, some people say wax, some people say oil. Jackie says you should have said the windmill was a G5 mast. No, people might think it's like a centre of a conspiracy theory. Right. It's so cold up here today. I used to have a studio that was so cold that I would wear fingerless gloves when I was drawing because my hands were freezing. And I never used to understand the point of fingerless gloves, but I got it then because I couldn't draw with proper gloves on, but the fingerless gloves did a little to keep my hands warm and I could still hold a pencil properly. For anyone who's tried colouring with gloves on, it's super difficult. Yeah, Alex says, these Faber Castell classics are marketed as children's pencils. Yeah, and they're cheap. They're not massively expensive. So, I don't know. I mean, I think wax pencils are cheaper than oil pencils, generally speaking, aren't they? We're just doing that thing where we just say a few facts and then speculate. It doesn't really get us anywhere, does it? We'll just have to wait for Faber Castell to tell us. I don't think the people that do Faber Castell's social media marketing know the answer either, hence the delay in responding to us. I think they're probably trying to find out. Now, I'm going to get a yellow. Oh, I had a yellow up here anyway to make these windows look like they're glowing. I always think a window that's coloured in like a yellowy warm colour is just so much more inviting than if you do it black, because it just seems cosier, doesn't it? Obviously. Oh, and do you know what else? I'm gonna do I think I'm gonna do like a yellowy glow all around here so that it looks like the palaces are glowing. Let's do that. I think I'll maybe do the yellow at the bottom as well. There we go. I'm going to do a wee bit just along here. It's like a puddle of light emanating from them. Good word, eh? And I'm going to do like the very edge, I think. Is this gold? What colour is this? No, it's that yellow from earlier. Am I doing that? What will I do? I'll think about what to do the very edge. Maybe pink. Maybe not. I'll think about it. I think I'll do these. I'll do them pink. So this is a pencil that we've used in here already, but I'm just pushing really hard. So whereas before I was just laying the colour down quite gently, it looks like a completely different coloured pencil. I'll go over these a bit more. And then I've got a couple of gems here. I feel like they should be green, like emeralds. Oh, and I forgot to take home the Arteza gel pens, but we should definitely have some gel pen action on this. Although that's not very Wes Anderson, is it? He doesn't seem a very glittery type of person. So with gems, I think it's nice to leave little corridors of white paper, and that really makes it look like there's a bit of sparkle going on. I didn't really work out where my light source was coming from here. It's a bit all over the shop, but generally speaking, if you can leave little strips of white like that, I think it helps to add to that effect of shimmer and shine. Oh my, I have to get a tissue. Sorry everyone, it's so cold. Let's zoom in a bit more. Don't know how centered we are there. Is that a bit better? Sometimes it's not better to have it more zoomed in. Okay, and now this wee ziggy-zag thing at the bottom, which I'm not really sure what it is. I think I'll do that. Oh, now is this this looks like a gold. Oh, it's a oh, it's shimmery. It is gold. We'll do that on over this. I don't know if you can see this. I'll try and capture it on the phone camera in a second. But this is like a glittery gold pencil. Who knew? I mean, it's not as glittery and as gold as a gel pen, obviously, but it's a nice little shimmer effect to go over the top. A bit like an iridescent, eyeshadow. Right, that was a nice find. Oh, sorry, I'm going to zoom out because it's just too close there. There's no wiggle room for me. And this laptop is in my way. gosh, look, right, let me try and show you this. Where's that pencil gone? Right, bear with me. Focus. Can you see it? Not really, huh? That wasn't the best demo. I'll maybe try and capture that in a video separately with loads of natural light tomorrow in the daylight, and then just upload it onto the page because it's pretty. So if these were tickets, oh, what is that? What is the Wes Anderson movie that's based on a train? Darjeeling Express? These look like tickets that could be from there. Or my favourite Wes Anderson movie, Grand Budapest Hotel. I like that one. Actually, that's not my favourite. What is it? See, I quite like, I'll do this brown. Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's also brilliant. The most recent one, Isle of Dogs, not a fave. Wasn't the best one, was it? Right, I'm gonna just do a wee bit of this brown, and then I'm gonna grab a paler. Oh, here's our, now look, the pale biscuity colour got mixed back in yesterday. It needs to be added. So I use that darker colour as like the base coat, the base layer, and then I've just used this paler pencil, almost like a blender, to go over the top. It's really quite heavy though. I don't think we would want the whole ticket that dark. We'll do it grey. I feel like that's always my go-to. Oh, we'll do it grey. I just find grey a really easy neutral. Like, no matter what colour palette you're working on, a grey is a nice complementary colour that doesn't compete but also isn't mega stark. So if you're looking to fill in an area around something that's nicely coloured, grey is always my go-to, because it takes away the whiteness of the paper and layers down colour without competing or clashing or any of those things. Just going to put that biscuit colour over the top to tie the two together. Then I think we will do the entire ticket grey. Let's do this whole one grey. But again, I'm just going to do bits of it in the darkest shade, as opposed to colouring the entire background shape in the same colour. That gives it this sort of mottled effect, so it's consistently inconsistent, which is my fave colouring technique for large areas, because then there's no pressure to sort of get rid of your pencil strokes or to have everything looking smooth and even. If you intentionally make it mottled, it's just a bit easier, isn't it? Do a little bit more. I'm just easing off on the pressure to make this layer of pencil at the edges, the sort of edge of that flood pool, to be pale. So you don't want any harsh edges where the colour suddenly just stops. What I want to try and do is ease off on the pressure so there's just like a gradual fade from the colour into white. And then I'm going to grab this pale grey, which I think we decided was putty yesterday, and just layer that over the top. And then I think we'll put one last colour into this, maybe a wee bit of brown. Yeah, I think we'll do a little bit more, maybe not that brown. Right. Actually, we'll layer in a bit of the pink to tie in with these ones. I think that's going to look a bit more, just a wee hint. Actually, I will use brown. It looks nice there. Doing this as well makes it look a little bit like that inner rectangle is layered. It looks like a little bit of a drop shadow effect, doesn't it? A bit flat up here, needs a bit more colour. I think I'll just do a little bit more along this outer edge. It really does make it look like a drop shadow, so it kind of makes this look like this rectangle is dropped on top of the larger ticket shape. Right, and then I don't think we want to leave this outer bit of the yellow white. Maybe an orange. I'm introducing a new colour. Oh, maybe not. Maybe pink. Yeah, I'm putting the orange back because I keep breaking my own rules. And I'll just use the pink. But we'll maybe just have it creeping in from the corners only. That's what we'll do. a bit concerned about this bit down here. Let's make it more yellow. And then a bit darker in the pink. So it looks like the light's illuminating. Otherwise, these little castles are just floating about in nothing, aren't they? They need to be anchored. There we go. Holy moly, it's gone at 4:30. It's taken ages to do this. Right, I think that's us. What do you think? Half an hour to do one little ticket. Let me zoom out. You can see them all so far. Well, that's us today. Sorry, it was a bit zoomy, wasn't it? There you go. I like that. I think next we'll do the hot air balloon. It's quite nice having just a really coherent colour palette, isn't it? There it is. For goodness sake, what did I have to do? You'll get to that page and I'm like, oh yeah, that was the day that she forgot. So, I'm going to stick to just these pencils. It's just these ones. How many is that? It's like the most retro looking colour palette, isn't it? It looks very like a 60s living room, I imagine. I wasn't around in the 60s. So lovely. So I'm going to keep those pencils separate. I'm going to pop them back in this little envelope, and I'll not put them back in with the other Faber Castell 60 pencils, oil or wax based, we're not sure. And that way we can just continue working in our lovely little limited colour palette. Very retro, Emily says. Yes, thank you. Oh, Nahid says, apparently they are wax. Good grief. I was so distracted by that. I'm gonna go and read that comment properly. But yeah, I think that's a really good idea. If you are overwhelmed with your colour choice, why not pick out a little group of pencils that all go together? Now, bear in mind, I didn't select those pencils. They just sort of, we just picked them as we were going yesterday. But then because I'm so untidy and hadn't put them away, they were all just sitting on the desk. But popping them in like a little envelope or a sandwich bag or a little folder and just keep them separate to your other pencils. And then if you just make your own little rule that you have to colour the entire picture in just those pencils, it'll firstly minimise the decisions that you have to make, so it's a bit easier. You're not like, oh my goodness, I have to pick from 120 pencils. You only have to pick from 15, 8, 5, whatever. And it also just makes your picture look really coherent. Like, you know how sometimes if you use so many colours, it's just really scattergun all over the shop. I think when you look at those pictures online that are like, holy moly, that's amazing, they all tend to have a very coherent colour look. Like they just, do you know what I mean? Like they all just go, and it's because it's a smaller selection of pencils all in like the same sort of colour family, like a very blue palette or a very warm palette. So when you start mixing everything and trying to use every single colour in your pencil set, that is when I think you get into a bit of bother. Okay everyone, thank you so much for watching. It was lovely to have you here today. Thanks for sharing in the windmill story with me. And I'll see you back here tomorrow when we will hopefully be doing a Mother's Day tutorial, unless I've not got my, I was about to say, use the cheeky phrase there, unless I've not got myself sorted out, in which case we'll continue doing this. Either way, we're going to colour the whole of this page because I'm really excited by it and I think it's going to look lovely when we're all done. All right, take care everyone. Bye-bye.